I had decided to relocate temporarily to a small motel on the outskirts of town as part of my next move. A no-tell-motel, so to speak. The remembrance of the tragedy of my own experience had forced me to go into hiding to protect those around me. Paranoid, yes, but I would not place myself in the same situation again. The room was sparsely furnished, but acceptable. I next went to phase 2 of my plan and went to a small curio shop on the Magnolia Promenade. I was pleasantly surprised to find what I was in need of. A toy boat, similar to the others, yet it contained no music box. Perfect. I bought it. I was not surprised that Bella Goth conveniently met me while shopping. She was running errands in town, and saw me through the window. We exchanged pleasantries and talked of the day. She had received the news of Mortimer's suicide in the penitentiary, and she felt conflicted by it. Why did I think he had executed himself when she was fighting for his release through the legal channels? I did not know, was my reply. Perhaps he had found himself guilty? I omitted my own visitation with him or my suspicions of his motives. Was I enjoying the summer house with all its accoutrements? I said I was, and again thanked her for the fully staffed household. I mentioned the arrival of young Miss Shannon to the household, and that it was good to see a fresh face around. She had offered me an opportunity to see the innocence of youth, much like her Cassandra had done. She laughed. Was that the attraction then, Cassandra's innocence? I stuttered my reply, and she grinned broadly at my discomfort. She asked, perchance, we might meet up later in town for a bit of tea and more conversation. I agreed to find her later, if given the chance. I next went to an old school chum of mine that was a sound mechanic. He worked on exclusive cars, and was quite sought out for his abilities. He had a garage in the town, stocked with every tool imaginable, and I asked if I could use his shop to change the appearance of something with paint. He was a sound fellow, and did not question further my request, but insisted I please make use of anything I might require. It is always good to maintain relationships with old school chums, is it not? I carefully repainted the toy boat the shades of black found on the 3 others. It turned out excellent, if I do say so myself. It resembled them perfectly, and if one was not keenly observant to it, no noticeable discrepancies were to be found. I took my little toy boat with me, and thanked him for his kindness. We parted, and I made my way to the motel once more. There I placed the toy boat on the dresser, and having done so moved on to the next phase of my intentions. I went to the Hare and Hedgehog to meet with Bella Goth for tea. She was waiting for me, and I sat with her amidst the bustle of the patrons. It was a comfortable little spot, with many folks coming and going throughout the day. We chatted aimlessly about topics ranging from politics to finance, from weather to science. She was well educated, it seemed, and could converse on virtually any topic on a moment's notice. Was I interested in the global ramifications of the current administration? I was not. Was I curious about anything in particular? I said that, indeed, I maintained a curiosity of what her thoughts might be at the moment. Was she content? She confidently returned the question to me. Was it I who was content? Was there anything that she might be considered for? Was I in need of something she might offer? She was bold in her suggestions, and that led way to asking me to, perhaps, invite her to an evening together. I mentioned my discomfort if she were to accompany me to the occupied house. Perchance a motel? She grinned and nodded with approval. We left for a romantic rendezvous. I was old, but not quite dead, you see. I awoke to find Bella gone. And a quick check of my room exposed my suspicions were correct. The little toy boat was gone, and I can only assume it was taken by Bella. Why? I pushed forward with my intentions. I had thought to attempt to find the meaning of the numbered notes in the melody. To that end, I recalled Shannon's geographical problems. Could they be related to a location? Might they hold a latitude and longitude of something of value to Bella, given to her by Mortimer as a last chance of redemption? I went to the Study of Maps repository in the capital. It housed books on all data related to geography. I asked the staff where I might find some information, just a map book to look into different locations. I found one in their study area. Let's see. The numbers I had were 42, 63 and 48. Putting them in several orders gave me different combinations, and I checked each one on the global lines. They all appeared gibberish, with no reliable direction. Until I deciphered one in particular. In a sequence of 48.6 and 23.4. Paris, France. I left to secure my passport. I would be taking a bit of a holiday to the French capital. I arrived at the Sims International Airport to secure a flight. I requested a ticket for the next leaving aircraft to France. It was a bit pricey, but I had never been and I guessed it would be a business mixed with holiday for me. I waited for my flight, as it would be leaving quite soon. My timing was impeccable, as always. I took a seat and contemplated my next move. I had allowed myself to be seduced by Bella with the hopes of her theft of the toy boat. I deliberately allowed her to think she was clever. She had assumed. Remember our lesson on that topic. The plane was announced for boarding and I made my way to a seat. Others prepared for the flight, and the sense of a grand holiday was shared by all. A few businessmen chatted about their upcoming meeting with a chance to sign a major operations deal with the government. Several others simply talked of the grand sights and foods that they would be soon enjoying in a foreign land. I sat in my assigned seat and thought. What was I doing? Was this all a foolish adventure I had created out of nothing? I never had a proper chance to notice the passengers. One went straight to first class. I suppose, dear listener, you have deduced who that was. None other than Mrs. Belligoth.